Hello, and welcome to my podcast, Moving and Listening. In this podcast, you will find two things. Number one, guided movement sessions, and number two, a talking format. The movement sessions will have always two parts. At the beginning, just a few minutes, something for you to arrive, a grounding. And then something not longer than 10 minutes I call floating, where I will guide you through that you can get into motion and, if you want, even into bigger movements in space. The talking format will be just me talking, or together with someone I will invite about something I'm interested in or what is on my mind and could be interesting for you as well. There will be episodes in German and in English. You will find the indication in each episode's title. My name is Mathis Kleinschüttger. I'm a dancer and choreographer, coach and trainer, and also the developer of embodied communication practice. Enjoy. Yeah, welcome to another chapter around themes of dance. Today it's about how to watch and enjoy dance. So it's about the perspective of the audience. And there's an interesting ambivalence to find in the reception of dance. So where to start? I have been a contemporary dancer for more than 20 years, and I had the pleasure of having friends, but also strangers, speaking to me after my shows I have danced. And on the one hand, many people who have watched contemporary dance that then said, I liked it, but I didn't understand much. And on the other hand, people say that dance is a universally understandable language as it doesn't use words. Well, on one hand, we have to look to the conception of narrative and meaning. If one expects a narrated meaning in the sense of a story or a clear expressed emotion or images, then you might not be able to understand contemporary dance with a cognitive analytical approach, as contemporary dance often refuses to serve conventional conceptions of narratives. Here, we'll find actually also the same observation of a part of the audience in contemporary theatre and opera. Contemporary dance operates with a rather kaleidoscopic approach, I would say, to expression and prefers to raise questions than to tell a story. A story, just to clarify, a story we might, for example, know from Hollywood movies, yes, the classical hero's journey or quest, or also known as monomyth after Joseph Campbell. Yeah, we all know it from Disney movies, which is lovely. But if contemporary dance would try to tell such a precise storyline, it would be more like its own version of a mix of pantomime and physical theatre. But actually, in contemporary dance, we have the possibility and most often the interest to rather create images and moments in a kinesthetic way to link to a kinesthetic observation in the audience. So an audience can feel and follow the emotions which individually appears through the movements, through the encounters between the dancers, through the gestures and its telling to the observers, and so on. And then an audience can make their own interpretations. So actually, it's more about letting yourself in and perceiving the moods, the emotional worlds, and perhaps also letting the overall picture and the overall effect have an impact on yourself while you're watching. So, and in the best case scenario, you can connect this. You can connect this, or it reminds you of something, or traces something you are currently noticing somewhere else, something that is happening somewhere else in the world around you. So to people who tell me they liked a contemporary dance piece but didn't understand it, I usually answer, don't try to understand. It doesn't want to be understood. Just try to follow and feel how it resonates within you and what you make of it in your individual way. Try not to actively search for meaning. Don't search cognitively, but rather let it affect you kinesthetically, seeing what comes from this movement, from this mood physically. And then it will turn to an overall structure, to a feeling inside yourself, to a mood that comes to you, which you are perceiving. And then actually the brain automatically starts to connect this with information, with memories, with your knowledge, which has been there before. And of course, in order to interpret it, your brain will make these connections. So it is more about allowing yourself to simply watch and let it sink in without the idea that you have to understand it cognitively or penetrate it or somehow to be able to explain it to yourself or anyone else afterwards. And that actually makes watching dance such a sensual pleasure again. Really, with one's sense it, you see it, you feel it. Perhaps there are even vibrations coming through the music, through the movements and so on, and you can feel them. I find that to be the wonderful and sensual experience of it, which is then automatically classified cognitively over time. But I don't have to consciously control it. And I love this about dance. So just enjoy dance with your whole body and let your brain later make sense of it without you trying to do so. I would like to come back to a point I mentioned in the beginning. It was that some people state that dance would be a universal language. Well, this can be true from the point of the understanding that as humans, we all have a pretty similar body and are able to move with it. And if we are able to move with our own body, we are also able to read the movements of other human bodies. So far, so good. But there are many factors which blur the legibility of human body movements. I just want to point out 3 examples which can undermine a universal legibility of bodies and movements. First, we never know exactly about the ability and disabilities of bodies we are watching. Second, also body movements, and especially dance movements, can be culturally coded. Think of traditional dance styles of all over different parts in the world, which have strong meanings connected to the certain movements. And contemporary dance uses or can be informed by traditional movement implications. So there might be codes in the movement. And third, the ability for self-awareness within an observer oneself, can influence the kinesthetic ability to perceive dance one is watching. So if one has a sensitive self-body awareness, the perception of movements of other bodies differs to the perception of people with less strong body awareness. So what to make of this then? Well, I'd say keep enjoying dance with your whole body and let your brain later make sense of it without you trying to do so. Plus, stay curious to the questions which will arise. And having said all of this, enjoy your day. Maybe dare a little wiggle or dance in your kitchen, in your living room, or with others in the streets. And don't think too much about it. Just enjoy it. All the best. Hear you soon.
Free audio post-production by alphonic.com.